What's up, guys? Somebody made a really good comment in one of my last videos, and basically the commenter was asking, what is the what should we be preparing for? What should we be focusing on? Now, I've done some videos in the past. I'm hoping this thing don't interrupt us. I've done some videos in the past where I've talked about it and touched on it, but it occurred to me maybe I haven't done one in depth enough, and probably haven't even done it in depth enough for my own personal taste. Okay, so what should we be focusing on right now? And a couple of the things he mentioned were economic collapse, violent riots, etc., etc. And unfortunately, I don't think you can really pin it down right now. There are so many potential powder kegs right now that one little spark could set any one of them off. And unfortunately, most of them are all intertwined like dominoes, and knocking any one over could start that chain reaction that knocks them all over. So where do you start at? What do you focus on? I don't know. I'll tell you up front, I don't have the answer. Economic situation. I mean, let's just not beat around the bush. They can smear chocolate icing on it all they want to in an effort to sweeten it up, but economic situation in the country right now is still very, very tenuous at best. Our national debt is in bad shape. People have got tons of credit card debt, loans. Think about all the student loan debt right now of people in the last 8 years have gotten high-end college degrees in fields that have cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's a subject or a topic or field that there's no way they're going to get a job to recoup that kind of money, much less recoup it and make a living off it. I mean, the last 8+ years, social arts, liberal arts, I don't even know what all the proper terminology is for it, but people have gotten expensive degrees in things that won't get them a paying job making anything much over minimum wage. What's going to happen with all that loan debt and all those student loans? That's just one little micro example in the bigger picture. So economic stuff, political stuff. I still hold we're in some dangerous territory politically. I just don't trust these whacked out leftists to not. They might try like a 1800s type coup attempt or something. I don't know. They've really become dangerously unpredictable. Look at world events. We've got hotspots going on all over the world, which tie back. These are violent-wise, but any of those could trigger something economically on an international level. And since everything we do is connected with the world markets and international finances and stuff, something that happens on the other freaking side of the earth could start a domino effect that affects us right here in the continental U.S. Look at all the division just in our country right now. There's still a lot of stuff simmering from the Black Lives Matters protesters. Now you're throwing in all of these Antifa idiots, and all the other groups that are feeling emboldened by them. You know, your communists and socialists and all those are coming out of the woodwork, it seems like. I honestly think nationally we're probably more divided right now than we were back in the 1860s. I really do. I mean, the list can just go on. So how do you focus on what to prepare for? You can't, in my opinion. You just have to be kind of well-rounded and watch a bunch of things. And all the while doing that, still go on with your daily life and live. Enjoy time with your family, enjoy life itself. We ain't even touch on natural disasters. We're coming up on hurricane season down here. It's just started, and they're calling for a really active season this year, and I kind of tend to think we probably will see one. So we haven't even gotten into that. The commenter also mentioned, what do you focus on as far as your preps? Defensive measures, training, weapons, that sort of thing. Food, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And honestly, I think that's another one that you can't really pin down into a nice little tight answer. You can have all the food in the world. I mean, you could have like 5 years worth of food for 50 people stored up. Things get bad, it won't do you a lick of good if 2 weeks into something, people that find out you've got it and are less than moral and honorable people want to take it, and you've got no way of adequately defending it and protecting it. All that food doesn't do you a bit of good. All the medical supplies in the world doesn't do you a bit of good. All the knowledge, medical knowledge, food growing knowledge, etc., etc. If you can't protect it, keep it, none of that does you any good. You can spend thousands of dollars on training and security measures and weapons and ammo and all of that, and be ready to, you know, fight off a small third world nation single-handedly. That doesn't do you any good if you're starving to death or dehydrated because you got no water, or you get sick and got no medical supplies. Get that little teeny scratch on your hand, and that little teeny piece of bacteria in there gives you an infection, and you got no antibiotics, no way of cleaning it, and it goes septic. All of a sudden there's your dead corpse sitting on a mound of guns and ammo. Doesn't do you any good. So what I'm getting at with all that, you got to be well-rounded, and unfortunately you have to kind of hit things in each category. Don't let any one category get too far ahead of the other. So like if you're working on, I'll just use it as an example because it's more my forte. If you're working on your defensive measures, your clothes, your firearms, your ammo, all that kind of your related training, all that, and that category is getting kind of high, getting kind of stacked deep with training, ammo, etc. But your medical categories down here, or your food or water categories down here, shift. Put that stuff on hold, shift over, start working on that other category till it gets up. Try to keep them all, you know, balanced out with each other, and touch on each one. See, I think that's where survivalists, and to a lesser extent preppers, and I just use those terms just for categorization and discussion purposes. I really don't like them anyway, but I think that's where they're really different from guys that get really wrapped up in the whole militia movement and militia stuff. Those guys just seem to be focused on running and gunning and, you know, fighting off the government hordes, that I honestly don't think are going to be there to fight, because if it all goes to crap, most of those people are going home to take care of their families. There won't be a government to fight, okay? But again, another video for another topic. But those guys tend to, they'd rather spend, you know, $5,000 on the latest night vision equipment and another $1,000 on a helmet to put it on, when they'd probably been, not that night vision isn't a good thing to have, by all means. If you've got like all your other categories handled, I'm just using this as an example, okay, then by all means, make technology work for you. But for probably 90% of us, getting a good rifle, a bunch of ammo, decent piece of gear, clothes, a lot of food, a lot of water, some medical supplies, some medical training classes, some hand-to-hand training classes, learning how to fight. All those things are should probably be way higher on your list than getting wrapped around what the latest generation of night vision and $1,000 bump helmet is. I'm just saying, if you got everything else covered, then good for you. But not to get off in the weeds on that too much, I'm just using that as an example of how you can get off in the weeds on something. So I guess I showed you by example. So bottom line is, and maybe we'll get into this more, I'm thinking if I can get my guys together, I want to sit down and do a little round table discussion, and like all of us be able to throw our 2 cents worth in. Again, that's part of the problem I'm running into with some of the other videos I want. But I can get one person lined up where we got time and availability that meshes, somebody else doesn't. It's again the whole work, family thing, etc., etc. So it's just life. We ain't doing this for business, like I've said. So yeah, without rambling on ad nauseum to the point that you're bored with this stuff, and to kind of throw a bone out to the commenter that posted on the video, it's hard to say what one area to focus on, what one area to put your time and energy into. You really do have to be kind of well balanced with this stuff, guys. Again, that's why I encourage you to check out other channels, look in other avenues. I know mine is real focused on, you know, the defensive side, the guns, the gear, the camo, you know, that sort of thing. That doesn't mean I ignore the other stuff. This is just kind of what my personal forte and interest is as far as getting on here. I still have more to learn about the other stuff than what I do about this, so I tend to try to stay in my lane, although I want to get into some of that other stuff too. Me and a couple of friends have talked about some of that stuff, and where we've been doing things and learning, and said, you know what, maybe somebody else could benefit from hearing what we are doing and learning, etc. So that may come down the road. Oh, I wanted to plug this too. I mentioned it in the previous video. I'm going to give him another plug. There's a saying that chance favors the prepared mind. Now, John, over the Prepared Mind channel, uses that as his tagline quite often. Pretty much every video. And he always asks you, is yours? I think that's an often overlooked point. And I'm glad he reminds everybody of it every time he does a video. In addition to all the tangible physical preps that we have to have, the food, the water, medicine, the shelter, the clothing, the guns, ammo, the knives, etc., etc., don't forget about the knowledge side. Learn as much as you can about as many different things as you can. That's part of it, but also the mental side of it is prepare your mind for what's potentially could happen. Do a lot of what ifs. Run what if scenarios when you're sitting around bored, or when you're like me, when I go running, while I'm out running, that's one of the things I'll do is just run scenarios through my mind. Do a, what if this situation happened? What would I do? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How would I handle it? Yada, yada. That's all part of that mental preparation. Paying attention to what's going on in the world. And not just here, but everywhere. Politically, economically, in America, in other countries, et cetera, et cetera. And thinking objectively about things, examining things real honestly, because, I mean, let's face it, we've all got preconceived notions, we've all got prejudices, we've already got established opinions on things, and sometimes we have to put those aside and open our minds up to entertaining other thoughts. What if our preconceived notion on something is wrong? Example, micro example. Let's say you're staunch Republican. So anytime a Republican politician stands up, you're rah, rah, rah. Okay. Maybe we need to stop and be objective. You know what? He's still a politician. Let's look real close at what he's saying, why he's saying it, etc., etc., and not just toe the party line, and be willing to accept, you know what, there may be politicians that we previously liked that we may have to say, whoa, hold up, buddy, bang, wrong answer, you are a no-go at this station. We got to be willing to do that, okay? So, again, give John another plug again, because I like John's. John's are good people, I'm telling you. It's kind of like in Top Gun. You're walking out of the classroom for the first time, and the plaque's up there, and Goose stops and looks at it, and then there's another name up there with the call sign Goose, and he goes, no. There's two of us named Goose Boys. Two of us. It's kind of the same thing. I feel that way about my Johns. Good peoples. Alright, enough screwing me. Get your mind squared away as much as you do everything else, okay? So, hope that answers the guy's question, and hope some of the rest of you might have found it of interest. Maybe we'll delve into some more of these individual topics, because I didn't even get into things like EMPs and related things like solar flares or other natural, I mean, geez, God, we could spend hours sitting here with this stuff. So maybe we'll start breaking some of those down individually and give them their own separate videos and talks. Kind of shut up now. The coffee cup's empty, and that presents a problem, and we have to go rectify that problem. So, take care, stay safe, keep preparing. I'll catch up with you in the next one. See you.